lucky. The band's been out for 2 weeks, so to come back with this fabulous musician is just delightful. So welcome today. How are we doing? We are great. How are you guys doing? They're great too. So welcome to Unity North. We're so happy that you decided to spend your Sunday with us and that you out there have spent your Sunday with us as well. Daniel is here. He is doing our music today. He and his lovely wife Paula have traveled down to see us. So he's going to teach you a song. It's very easy. It's very rockin'. So on your feet if you're able, and let's get it started.
It's easy. We're standing on holy ground. That's it. We're standing on holy. We're standing on holy. We're standing on holy ground, because wherever you are standing on holy ground all the time, every time, wherever you are. This is all holy ground. Come on now. Look down and see what was given to you and me. Right here we know the power that we hold to kindle a spark, so we can light up the dark, show others the way, let them see a brand new day. Here we go. We're standing on holy. We're standing on holy. We're standing on holy ground. Oh, yeah, now. We're standing on holy. Yes, we are. We're standing on holy. We're standing on holy ground. You see, you already know it. Right where we are, we traveled so far, and inside we know we've got so much further to go. Throw the past in the fire so that we can grow higher. Look down and see we are all that we need to be. Here we go, everybody, sing with me now. 'Cause we're standing on holy. We're standing on holy. We're standing on holy ground. Oh, yeah, now. We're standing on holy, holy, yeah. We're standing on holy. We're standing on holy ground. Oh, yeah. Inside, outside, we can really bring the fire with our perfect appointment. We can raise vibration high, living into integrity. We can help the world to see, being all that we can be. We can lead humanity. Inside, outside, we can really bring that fire with our perfect appointment. We can raise vibration high, living into integrity. We can help the world to see, being all that we can be. We can lead humanity. Oh, 'cause we're standing on holy. Yes, we are. We're standing on holy. Yeah. We're standing on holy ground. Oh, yeah, now. We're standing on holy. You sing, standing on holy. We're standing on holy. Everybody's standing on holy. We're standing on holy ground. Two more times, everybody, sing it loud. We're standing on holy. Yeah. We're standing on holy. We're gonna take you to church. We're standing on holy ground. Last time, everybody. Whoa, yeah, now. We're standing on holy. We're standing on holy. We're standing on holy ground. We're standing on holy ground. Yeah, we are.
Daniel Capo, we are standing on
Good
holy
morning,
ground.
Unity.
Thank you. You will see much more of him later in the service. Whew. Standing on holy ground, are we not? Yes, we are. So I invite you to now take that premise, that idea, into a time of prayer. And so I invite you to close your outer eyes and bring to mind that holy ground. We are standing on the holy ground of Unity North, but even still, we're standing on the holy ground of our consciousness of love, acceptance, safety. For we know that in our very next thought, all those things are there for us. And so we bring our mind and our heart to those in the room, to those watching, to those who've yet to find us, knowing that the calling of their soul, the love in their heart connects us all. And so we say thank you, God, for this time together, for this holy ground of love in our hearts, for the peace, the joy, and the gratitude. As we enter this time together, we are filled in our love heart space with the gratitude of these people at this time in this sacred space. And so it is. Amen. Amen. All right, welcome again, Unity North. Lots going on. So, first of all, our pumpkins were delayed, but our pumpkins are coming tomorrow. Yes. 700 of them. Over 700 of them. So those of you that have already agreed to help, thank you. Those who can help, please see Judith in the foyer. Since there was a delay, some of the people that were signed up for Friday maybe can't be there, so we need all able-bodied people who are able to come and help unload those pumpkins and get them to our patch tomorrow, 3:30 p.m. here at Unity North. Please see Judith, and to also sign up to sell pumpkins over the next couple of weeks. Rapping with the Kids, this coming Wednesday. Rapping with the Rev has started again, and it's just been a wonderful, wonderful time of meditation and dialogue between Reverend Richard and those of you both online and in the room. We're figuring this technology out finally, so everybody can be part of the dialogue. So we wanted to have some Rapping with the Kids so the adults could come and enjoy that time. So this Wednesday, October 20th, 6:30 p.m., the patch is open till 7, and then we will spend some time with the kiddos while you guys enjoy meditation. So please join us for that. Unikids is back next week. I see some kiddos that came in, but yes, we are finally back with the Unikids. The Uniteens and the YOU have been meeting safely, but our Unikids are coming back next Sunday, October 24th. If you want to stay in touch with all the information going on with the Unikids program, please text the keyword Unikids to our number there. We are excited. Prayer Shawl Ministry is doing a shawl giveaway next Sunday, the 24th, from 10 to 11 a.m., and then after service from 12:30 to 1:30. So this is so many people have benefited from the Prayer Shawl Ministry, who keeps that sacred space in prayer the entire time they're making the shawls. And I know I've benefited from them. Many people have. So come get yours. And they're always taking love donations for more yarn to keep that going. I forgot to put on the town hall meeting. That's next week. The 24th? The 24th, town hall meeting. Very important stuff. Don't have a slide, but it is next Sunday, the 24th. And this is to discuss things that are up in the field and in preparation for our meeting on November 7th, our congregational meeting. So I don't know if you wanted to say anything about that real quick.
Important decisions coming down the pike for this congregation to make about our admin building and about our youth ed department. So your vote and your voice is necessary. Come get the information. It's on a Zoom call next Sunday. I believe it's at 3 o'clock, but it's going to be really important that you're on there to get the information about what we're going to be asking you as a congregation to vote on. It's going to be a significant or not significant outlay of our resources and our cash, and so your voice is important and vital.
And I love that we're not a top-down leadership. You guys matter. You guys are invested. We're asking you to invest at a greater level. So yes, please have your voice be heard. And finally, drum roll, Thank you. Fall Festival. Our Fall Festival is October 29th, and here is the deal. Only 6 of you have signed up, and a lot of work has gone into this Fall Festival, and we just want you to know that it is not just for children, it is for adults. We've got a campus-wide scavenger hunt with some really fun things to do, and that is October 29th, 5:30 to 8 p.m. So bring the family, bring yourself. It's a way to be in community. We're going to have pizza and refreshments and be able to be all over the campus doing some fun tasks, some fun little games, and then storytelling at 7:30 p.m. down at the Labyrinth. There is pumpkin carving. The Labyrinth will be lit up, so please come be in community and register so that we are not panicked that only 6 people are coming. So go on the website, register, although if you forget, please do come that night. We will accept you with open arms. Tell everybody about it. It's going to be a great evening.
Thanks, Julie. You guys, it's okay to clap for announcements because there's wonderful things going on. Good morning to each and every one of you. Welcome to our hearts and welcome to this community. Whether you be in the room or you're online, we welcome you into this space. You are a part of our family, whether you're here for 30 years or you're here for the first time. In this community, we teach that there are many paths to the one God, and we're grateful that your path has crossed our path. And in that exchange of energy, something miraculous can happen for the whole and for the individual. We're just going to ask that if you're here in the room, you put your hand up so we can find you and make a round of applause and a lot of noise because we're so grateful you are here. Anybody here for the very first time today? Anybody? Welcome to our home. Welcome to our family. Welcome to our community. And the same to those of you who are online finding us for the first time. I want to let you know that I will be in the foyer. If you have any questions about what we talk about here today or any questions about what Unity North is about, I will be right in the office out the doors to the left. And those of you online, if you have any questions, please call. I love getting those calls about how to clarify what it is we're all about here at Unity North. But we're delighted that you have brought your gift into this space. We're delighted that each of us has brought a gift into this space, and we say thank you. Right now, we have a gift in this space, and that is Daniel Capel, who is back with us. He's an amazing human being. Besides his talent that you've already experienced, and you're going to hear more, he is a beautiful soul on the planet. He is a minister extraordinaire, and we're delighted to have him here today. Please welcome Daniel Capel.
Thank you. Thank you so much to Richard and to UNA and everybody who makes this place run and work. This song that I'm going to do next, which will take us into the message, is a song that I wrote for my kids initially. The reality is, it was a song that was written for me. Live our life of wholeness, live a life for good, look into our souls for forgiveness, just like we know we should, help those in misery, deepen our hearts to care, look to lift each other up, find a way to share. Oh, know that we provide the goodness. We are the ones of peace. Listen with our entirety. Take the time to teach. Look inside to find the bliss. Spend time each day in gratitude. Dig deep to find the joy. Know that you control your attitude. Every day find peace and stillness. It's so much better to be calm. Remember above all else, first let's do no harm. Oh, live for everyone. Release the worries and the sorrows. We only have a little time. Love like there's no tomorrow. Thank you guys. Thanks to the band. They're so great.
Daniel Capel, amazing, amazing. What a great gift to give your kids. What a great gift to give the world. I talked to Daniel. We had lunch yesterday, and when he came into town after a 10-hour drive to get here from Virginia. And I said, what are you most looking forward to about being here? And he says, playing with your incredible musicians, playing with these guys here in this band. And so, a great offering. The song, basically, there you go. You don't even talk today, because he put it into a song, everything that we teach, everything that we are about, full of divine ideas. But I'm going to hit one of those divine ideas today. And I'm going to invite you to open up your heart space, to open up your mind, and to open up your spirit to a talk that I'm going to own right out of the gate that I'm a little bit uncomfortable about giving. I'm on the edge today. It usually happens about once a year that I get on the edge of this talk. But let's go ahead and begin. We're in safe company, right? We're in beautiful friendship and family, and that's what we're going to celebrate here today. Let me begin with a little story. Two friends, the $1 bill and the $100 bill, had not seen each other for years and years and years, and they met each other on the street, and they were so excited to see each other after all this time. And the $1 bill said to the $100 bill, where the heck have you been? Oh, and the $100 bill answered, I've been to the most amazing places. I've been into the best clubs all around the world, the most priceless hotels. It's just been an amazing adventure. And he turned to the $1 bill and said, well, where have you been? He said, well, no place fancy at all. I've just kind of been going from church to church to church to church. Let us begin with the master teacher's words in the Gospel of Matthew chapter 6. Lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. Say that with me. It's the foundation of what we're talking about today. Together, lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. So where are your treasures? In heaven. What does that mean? Where is heaven? What is heaven? Anybody got an answer today? What is heaven? Right here, right now, where I am. But what we teach here in the Unity Movement is that heaven is consciousness. It's not a place of reward at some far-off distant place. If you're a good boy or you're a good girl, you behave yourself. No, it is a state of consciousness right here and right now. It's spiritual awareness that rises above the human condition, that rises above what's happening in the earthly realm. It's a focus and a perspective and an attention to spiritual truth. Unity North is in the business of investing in heaven on earth. That's our business. That's our job. That's what we do here every time we get together. Everything we do in this church is an investment in the dream of a community that is raising individual and the collective consciousness. The collective, not just of those of us in the room, but the collective of the entire human race. That's how powerful it is when we get together. We are affecting, because we are one with all people, we are affecting the vibration of the entire population of the planet, the consciousness. That's where our treasure exists. It's where our treasure has always existed. It's where our treasure will always, forever exist. Today is the third talk in a 5-part series on dream building. Unity North is a dream. Each one of you, as cells within the body of the humanity and of Unity North, also have a dream that is being built. And so the whole month of October, we're talking about dream building. Let me give you a little bit of a review of the first 5 steps that we went through last 2 weeks. Believing. You got to believe it. Then you've got to know it. Then you've got to love it. Then you have to take an action, and that action means you have to stretch. We did that last week. We stretched into a greater capacity to know what is possible. We stretched into a greater awareness of what God would do through us and as us individually and collectively. Today is step number 6, and that is investing. Say that with me. Investing. Investing in the dream, your dream, the dream of the people next to you, and the dream of this community. Now, let me ask you some questions. What are the main indicators of abundance in your life? What are the main indications of abundance in your life? How do you measure prosperity? How do you measure wealth? What tool are you using to get the measurement? And what does true prosperity feel like? Not what does it look like? Not what it tastes like? Not what it sounds like? But what does it feel like? Anybody? What does prosperity feel like to you? Call it out. Joy. Freedom. Family. Security. There's a lot of intangibles there. You notice that? Things you can't get your hands around. Nobody said my car or my building. Nobody said my bank account or my portfolio or the stock exchange. But they were intangible ideas, divine ideas, the ones contained within the song that was just sung here by Daniel. Things that we cannot hold, but boy, things we can know, things we can feel. That's where our true abundance lies. According to Eric Butterworth, one of the icons of the Unity Movement and the author of Spiritual Economics, how we measure prosperity is going to determine whether we are experiencing abundance or living in a perpetual state of fear-based, impoverished thinking. Plain and simple. Now, I would love to tell you that I'm always living in the state of abundance and I never have any fear-based thoughts, but I would be lying to you. Some days I go in and out of that. Based upon what? Upon consciousness. Based upon what is going on between these two ears. My stinking thinking or my thinking that's founded in truth. That's knowing that there is an abundance that is ever present at all times. He writes in his book, Spiritual Economics, you see things not as they are. Let's read this together. You see things not as they are, but as you are. It is consciousness that sets all limits of life. Let us know together today, both in the room and online, that long before there were any words like economic indicators, long before there was this idea of determining where we were going to be economically, where we are, or where we have been, there were great spiritual masters walking the planet, and they challenged us. Our elder brother, our way shower, Jesus, who was aware of the Christ Spirit, says this in the Gospel of John, chapter 7, verse 24. Let's put that slide up there and say it together. Stop judging by mere appearance and make a right judgment. I get caught up in these eyes. I don't know about you. These are what cause me to get into the stinking thinking. It looks like trouble, and I give all my power to what I'm seeing here and not what I'm seeing here. We are called to judge rightly by the level of our heart, our spirit, spiritual truth, and not necessarily what is of the five sensory world. Anybody else? Am I the only one that waffles back and forth with that challenge? It's part of the human journey. I'm a human being, and I am having a spiritual experience, yes. And I'm a spiritual being having a human experience. And I don't know about you, but there are days I'm a human being and I'm having a human experience. And that's when I want to turn to scripture like that that says, stop judging by the appearances, mere appearance, and make a right judgment. Drop down into the eyes of the heart, to the eyes of the Christ, the Buddha, the Atman, the Tao. This is what Judy's doing over there right now. That's her only job as our chaplain on duty today. Mary's in the back of the room over there, and they're sending a beam through this room, seeing rightly, knowing rightly, claiming rightly, affirming rightly. They're holding sacred space for each and every one of you, and they're holding sacred space for the whole that is this community. So connect with their hearts. Get in line with that beam. And if you want more prayer, they'll see you in the back of the room right back there after the service. Jesus was speaking of connecting to a place of spiritual substance. Everyone say substance with me. Substance. Substance. That which is standing underneath the human condition. That which is behind your bank account. That which is behind the dollar or the $100 bill. That which is behind the house that you live in. The clothes that you wear and the car that you are driving. That's what we're in the business of. He spoke of connecting to the God essence that is the one and only source of everything that we have ever experienced and ever will experience. You know, most of us are counting the pennies in our purse, the dollars in our wallet. We're counting what we have, and we're claiming our identity by what we have, and we're judging ourselves by what we have. While the spiritual masters throughout history have gathered awareness of the ever-present spiritual essence to measure true wealth, judging not with the eyes but with the heart. You know, science is right on board with this. You know, we used to think at one point, not only that the world was flat, but we used to think that what we could see, touch, and hear was all that there was. That's all there was. That was the entire universe. But cosmologists have for many years now directed us in a new direction. They're saying that what we see, we feel, and we touch is only about 4% of what is. There's this thing called dark matter that cannot be measured by human minds and human measurement tools. It cannot. What Unity North is about investing in the 96% universe that people don't understand, and science is saying that's a good place to invest your time, your energy, your talent, your spirit, and your heart, because it's expansive. It's far greater than the 4% universe that we live in. We're about investing in dreams, intangibles. We're about investing in visions, and love, and community, empowerment, and oneness, and in healing, and a host of other intangibles. Breathe that in. Kind of challenging. You're asking me to invest in an intangible. I can't get my hand around it. That means I have to confront my human ego mind that has lived and defined myself by a 4% universe for a very long time. The 4% is pretty insignificant. Now let me ask you a question. Do we invest in a building? That's part of the 4% universe. Of course we do. But only because this tangible, allows us to house the intangible ideas of shifting consciousness, of building lives, building people, serving humanity, and realizing the full potential of everyone individually and us collectively. The 4% universe absolutely supports the 96% universe, because without the 96%, the 4% doesn't exist. It's kind of a great paradox. This 4% universe that we walk in and experience does not exist without the 96% universe. And so that's what we're about at Unity North, investing In the 96% of the universe, which is the greatest power, I'll call that God. It's all God, but I'm going to call it the greater portion of God. So we get to ask ourselves, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? What came first, consciousness or manifestation? Anybody got an answer? What comes first, consciousness or manifestation? I hope you're good Unity students and you're going to say consciousness always precedes manifestation. 96% universe will always precede the 4% effect. Cause and effect. We are the cause of a changing reality and a changing paradigm, not only in your individual life or in this church, but on the planet. Now I'm going to get real personal today. I had planned this talk, and I wasn't going to get personal, but some things came up that I wanted to just put my guts out on the table here today to make my point. I have been told by a number of people that I need to drive a different car, that I need to drive a minister's car. Now, I don't exactly know what a minister's car is, but obviously to these people, it's not a 2002 Jeep Wrangler. I need to drive something that feels more ministerial, one that looks fancier. I call my Jeep Rocinante. Anybody know what Rocinante is? Rocinante was the name of Don Quixote's horse. And the word Rocinante means not a broken down old nag. Quixote did not see his horse as a broken down anything, but he saw his horse as a magnificent steed that allowed him to fight dragons, to tear down walls, to see the good in people. Now, there are a lot of people that call him crazy. This fictional character, that he was crazy. But there's a line. One of my dreams is to play Don Quixote in Man of La Mancha at some point, but there's a line in that play. I think we have a slide for it that says, "They call me mad, seeking treasure where there is only trash." But perhaps maddest of all is to see the world as it is and not as it can be. Are we chasing windmills? Hell no. It may feel like windmills to the people that are living in the 4% universe. But let me introduce you to my steed, my joyous steed, Rocinante. Rocinante gets me from point A to point B without a huge car payment. Rocinante gets me from point A to point B, and sometimes B is the hospital to visit a congregant, without a car payment, and never once in its 20 years on the planet has it ever caused me a major car repair. I'm beginning to look at the wealth of that car just a little bit differently. But let's go a little bit farther. Better yet, Rocinante has helped pull other cars, BMWs, Lexus, and Infinitis, out of ditches. Rocinante saved other cars that might be a little bit more ministerial. How many of you remember Snowmageddon here in Atlanta? That's when I made a vow that Rocinante and I were buds till the bitter end. We had a parking lot full of people that couldn't get home. Fancy cars, East Cobb cars that could not get home. There was ice all over the roads, so they tried to go out there. They were going to get into an accident. We had 40 or 50 people that we housed here in this beautiful 4% universe. I was grateful for that. And I was really grateful that all those Infinitis and BMWs and maybe even a Mercedes that couldn't get home got home to their children, got home to their family. And how did they get home? Rocinante. And what's more valuable to me is that the car got them from here to their home, where the dialogues of the people that were desperate to be with their family and the dialogues with a minister in a minister's car, connecting at the level of a heart, level of the human fear they were experiencing, and the level of truth and confidence that was instilled in a 2002 Jeep Wrangler. Rocinante has taken people to the emergency room on more than 5 occasions and has allowed me to reach families that were in crisis. That's how I measure the prosperity. And let me tell you, my car, my minister's car, I can't tell you the number of times when that top came off that I wasn't looking like the Beverly Hillbillies, hauling the furniture of congregants that needed to move out of a house quickly and get to a new location. Rocinante is a pretty impressive steed. Not to mention the fact that Rocinante allows me the view. When that top comes off, I have a view of God's universe, the sky, the wind, the clouds, and the trees that I've never had in a sedan that looked like a minister's car. But I want you to know I am investing very consciously and not investing in a car very consciously. It's not because I'm broke. I could afford a car payment. It's because I'm investing in people instead of a car. I'm investing in dreams instead of cars. I am consciously choosing to invest that car payment into the visions of people who make a difference on this planet. I tithe, and I tithe very handsomely. I would not have the ability to do that if I was making a $400 car payment. Just a thought. Where your heart will be, there will be your treasure. My heart is in service. My heart is in helping. My heart is in recognizing somebody's presence and finding a way for my broken down old nag to get from point A to point B and to realize in that moment something greater is happening. I've also had some people question the way I dress. I get a lot of comments. You'd be surprised. I would hope that my congregation would be a little bit more concerned about what I'm saying and a little bit less about what I'm wearing. But I'm not slick. I get it. I'm not slick. But let's talk about that. I don't dress abundantly, by whatever definition abundance is. I certainly know that I'm a heck of a lot more comfortable right now than I would be in a jacket and a tie. And let me tell you, for the record, the amount of money that I save in cleaning, we love our hugs around here. I want to introduce you to my cleaning bill. When I used to wear jackets every week and ties every week, my cleaning bill was through the roof. $50, $60 every week because of the makeup that you old ladies all wear. It got on my tie, and it got on my coat, and I would go back every week to the cleaning. Now, I love the hugs. I'm not going to give up on the prosperity and the abundance that I measure by the embrace of somebody who says, I love you, and allows me to say, I love you to them. But I'm certainly going to take that $50 a week, and I'm going to put it into the dreams and the visions of what's going on here at this church. It is a conscious investment. It is not a consciousness of lack. It is a consciousness of putting my finances, my resources, my heart, and my belief where it has the biggest bang for the buck, and that is in people. That is in the intangibles. That is in the visions. I tithe. I use that money to tithe to this organization. Am I preaching? Somebody might tell me I'd be meddling. And a lot of those people that I tithe to have fancier clothes than me. And they drive a fancier car than me, and their house is far larger than mine. But I'm not tithing to clothes. I'm not tithing to cars. I'm tithing to the soul that is contained by those clothes. The soul that is in that house and the soul that is in that car. I don't measure prosperity by my car, my clothes, or my house. I could afford right now much more elaborate of all three. I'm making a conscious choice to take the extra income, to take the savings, and to apply it to something that will be my legacy, something that will be far more profound at the end of my life, that I will be proud of. The dividends and the investments when the investments I make far outweigh the 4% human measurement. I've had the honor. As a minister, I'm incredibly blessed, and this is how I measure prosperity. I've had the opportunity to be at the bedside saying goodbye to somebody who was taking their last breath. I've also had the distinct honor of being with a family after that last breath had been taken and to comfort them and console them. Those are sacred, sacred moments. And here's what I've noticed every single time. Where did the clothes go of the person who passed? They went down the street to Goodwill. Where did the car go? It got donated to KQED. Where did the house go? It went on the market. Somebody else moved in. It was a wonderful 4% investment that went to somebody else. But what I've noticed in those sacred moments, with those things that you cannot take with you, and those things that are temporal, that what remained were the investments of the heart that never, ever die. The investments of the heart that never, ever go away. It's what sustained the families in their grief. It's what sustained that soul, I know, long after they left here. This week, I got face to face. My mother has been in the hospital for now 14 days. And it got really real. There's a number of congregants in this church that I'm supporting through their cancer journey. And now it hit home. And mother had a stroke. And I'm saying thank God for the stroke, because they would not have found the cancer without it. And the level of communication, the level of intimacy with my entire family that I have never, ever had, is a treasure that I will hold for the rest of my life. The connection of the heart with my mother, and the willingness of a lady who never said I love you for most of my life, to be the first one to say it. And I get emotional because it took this crisis. Didn't take a house or a car or a clothes. And you think I dress poorly, you ought to see my dad. He's got 2 sweatshirts, one for the week and one for the weekend. But to have your father say for the first time, first, I love you. That is a priceless treasure. Where my heart is will be my greatest treasure. And my family's going to be walking through a very challenging, difficult, with the bedrock of our family, the centerpiece of our family. Everybody's having to scramble, but my sisters and I, even my twin brother, who we don't see eye to eye on anything, the level of connection shows me exactly what I'm talking about is true. It is eternal, it is immortal, and it is far greater than what car I choose to drive to California to sit at my mom's bedside. I want to read from the Gospels again. Matthew chapter 6 says, where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. Do we have a slide on that? Let's say that together. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. I like to flip that around. Where your heart is where your treasure will be. It changes the whole meaning of the scripture. Where your heart is, there will be your treasure. I invest in this community because my heart is here. My treasure is here. My greatest treasure is in the investments I put into the hearts and the lives and the ideas of others. The investments that you make, that we all make, in lifting somebody up, helping them remember who they are, that they are not throwaways, that they belong. That's heaven. That's consciousness. That's not only Unity North's inheritance, but it is our priceless legacy. Service is the highest form of prayer. You've heard me say that a number of times, yes? Service is the highest form of prayer. Service is the highest form of knowing God. And let me tell you, service is the highest form of abundance. And I will not wiggle on that, no matter what car I'm driving, or what house I'm in, or what pair of tennis shoes I happen to be wearing. I did wear nicer shoes today, but I can take them off and put tennies on, and I'm the same man. I can take these off and stand here in my underwear, and I'm the same. That would not be a good idea. But I want to stand a little bit naked right now in front of you to know why I invest in this community. We don't do it very often, and there's lots of people that don't know what we do here. And it is important. Here are some ideas, divine ideas, that you might recognize. Must Ministries, a weekly food drive for almost going on 2 years now, where 500 families receive food who would not otherwise eat. Hungry people are fed because of your investments in this place, my investment in this place. Family Promise, YWCA, Habitat for Humanity, and Covenant House. Homeless people are sheltered because of our investments in this place. Cherokee Domestic Violence Center, the Foster Parents Association of Cobb County, animal shelters all over the place. Abused people and abused animals have healed as a result of our investments. Not the investments in your house or your car, but your investments in the intangibles that live in this space, in this room, and in this consciousness. The extension, Boys to Men, Skates in Motion, all organization of hopeless young people who found hope as a result of our investments. But let's make it more personal. Let's bring it right to home. Prayer shawls. Prayer shawls that go to the sick and the dying. Prayer shawls that I get to deliver. Sometimes it's a chaplain, sometimes it's a friend, but those shawls are instrumental. John Hicks, who's a member of our finance committee, shared today in the first service about the prayer shawl as his wife is going through a very, very difficult time, that prayer shawl is what her abundance is. It's where her treasure is. It maybe cost a few dollars for the yarn, but it took a lot of love and time for somebody to put that prayer shawl together. And now the abundance is not in how much money that prayer shawl can be sold for on the market, because it is priceless, that she lives in the energy of the love and the prayers of our prayer shawl ministry. Let's go further. Energy healing for those seeking wholeness. I can't tell you, I can't count on my fingers and my toes the number of people who have come to this place with a diagnosis that left after several treatments from our wholeness ministry healed of what modern medicine said was not healable. A little Reiki, a little EFT, whatever the modality, it matters less how much they paid for that, because we give that away free here. They charge a mighty price for it out in the world, but here they give it away free. And it's the most priceless treasure those people who are living today have received. Scouting programs that are bursting at the seams with young men and young women, because that's the kind of church that we are. We have a scout troop in this church that was kicked out of another church because they didn't allow gay boys or gay leaders or allow girls in. We have a scouting troop that is an icon in Cobb County right now. It has grown faster than 14 other scouting troops here. It's because the divine idea is where the treasure is. The 4% universe is responding to the 96% consciousness of what is valuable. Programs that tear down religious walls and build bridges of understanding. We are a safe haven for the discarded and marginalized people who had no spiritual home until they came here. You see, scouts just weren't alienated from church. The entire LGBTQ population of this community was told you don't belong, you got to change who you are, or you have to leave. They found a home here. That's a divine idea I'm going to invest in. It's okay to applaud, because this is exciting stuff. Your investments have allowed all of this. We create hope through global mandalas, through dances of universal peace, through interfaith dialogues, through recovery groups, through counseling, through chaplain programs, through children programs, through teen programs who are receiving for the first time the truth that they are a miracle. They're hearing it for the first time. They are a miracle. They're not broken. They're not stained. They don't need to be fixed. They just need to be awake to how magnificent they are. Programs that empower, that teach oneness and peace and potential. Your investments allow that to happen here in this church. And on the icing on the cake, this glorious cake that we have, here's the icing. Right here in this congregation, dreams are realized and lives are changed. Just think for a minute. I want to see a show of hands. How many of you, whether you've been coming for 30 years or you're here for the first time, that your life has not been impacted in a positive way by what goes on in this room, in this 4% universe? Raise your hand if you've been impacted. Look around the room, folks. That's my treasure. And I don't care what car you drive. I don't care what clothes you're wearing. I don't care what county you live in. I care that your life has been changed. And so I will take my car payment, my cleaning bill, and my reduced house payment, and I will dump it into your life. And you dump it into my life, and somehow at the end of the journey, we're all better, and we're holding hands and say, thank God people invested in the possibility of what can be, the dreams and the visions of everybody that's living in the 96% universe. Charles Fillmore, our co-founder, said this. Let's read it together. It makes no difference how small or how large the thing you want to do may be. If you have an unlimited confidence in your ability to do it, you will do it. That is consciousness. That's what we instill. That's what we empower. That's what we live. That's what we breathe. I'm going to invite the band to come up here because we're going to go into a meditation and actually live in that consciousness. I'm going to invite Daniel to come up. We're going to try something out of the box today for the meditation. I believe we have been called. I'm asking you today to consider a conscious investment in the consistent giving program. We're a darn good place, but let me tell you, the God that's speaking in my heart says there's so much more that we can do. There's so much more with an expanded staff. Our head of the Unity Movement came here recently and he spoke to the first service, and I heard him clearly say, one minister can effectively minister to about 60 to 80 people. There are well over 1,000 people that call this place their home. Boy, that really hit home. Now, he did say, I think, if I remember correctly, that if the minister has a 2002 Jeep Wrangler, that he can minister to maybe 100 or 120 people. We have youth in this community that need the attention of an associate minister. We have teens that need those divine ideas at a greater level, plain and simple. I can't do it anymore. Do you know that I am the music director, the youth minister, and the senior minister of this church? And I'm also in charge of outreach. I have cheated this community in being what it can be. And I'm not going to cheat you anymore. I'm going to step aside and say, own your home. Own the divine ideas. Invest in what's going on in this community. The dividends will be far greater than anything you've experienced. And let me tell you, no investment is too small. This is not about greater than or less than, big or small. That's a 4% measurement. The measurement is consciously you are stepping into the dream and the vision that is this community 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now when I'm just visiting, pulling up in my Cadillac. Or 20 years from now when I'm pulling up in a 2002 Jeep Wrangler and I'm saying, who needs to move today? Maybe you're already on the consistent giving program, and I thank you for that. And I'm humbly asking you to up your game. I upped mine long before we started this series, and I upped it significantly higher than a cleaning bill because I believe in you. I believe in the programs. I believe in that. Was that list as impressive to you as it is to me of what this community does? I can see a vision of what can be. It's not so I can drive a fancier car. Let's get real clear about that. I like Rocinante. I don't want a fancier car. I don't want a raise. Your money and your investment will not go to make a raise for me so that I can wear a suit and a tie, because I will be miserable if you put me in a suit and a tie. Wearing a sweater right now is about killing me. It's so hot up here. It's because I love this place. I'm inviting you. A little background music, Ryan. Please join me in believing, knowing, loving, acting, stretching, and investing in the miracle that is this necessary spiritual community. As we lay up for ourselves treasures in heaven, treasures in consciousness, treasures in the 96% universe, and then watch the 4% universe of effects respond to us as the cause. That is our inheritance, and that is our legacy. Daniel, lead us into meditation with a song.
Before I do, I actually want to acknowledge you. Richard lives by his word. It's not just the word that he gives you on Sundays, but it's the words and the truth
that he lives in every moment. Paula and I came 10 hours to be here, and we haven't paid for a thing. And I want to tell you, although he probably wouldn't want you to know, he gave us extra money to be here because he believes in the music, and he believes in this mission, and he believes in the message. So, and I want to thank him for stepping out to find us a place to stay while we're here as well.
Thank
So
you, Christine.
Christine and Brian, thank you. So I just want to let you know how lucky you are. And if you don't understand, you need to understand. This is a man that lives his word in every moment. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. And the presence of God who watches over us. I am the presence of God. Sing with me. Wherever I am, God is. Wherever I am, God is. Wherever I am, God is. And all is well. Let's sing together. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. And the presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever I am, God is. Wherever I am, God is. Wherever I am, God is. And all is well.
Invite you to know that truth together in a time of meditation as we close our outer eyes and we open our inner eyes. And say in the sacred sanctuary of your heart, wherever I am, God is, and all is well. Wherever I am in consciousness, God is there, and all is well. So I'm going to just offer some of the divine ideas of the message. I'm going to ask Daniel to play the violin. The bounty of music without lyrics is sometimes even more tremendous than what the human mind has judged. So I'll speak and he'll play. Let the music ground in you just one idea that's calling for your investment today. You are the light of God. You are the love of God. You are the power of God. You are the presence of God. consider in this moment that your light, that your love, that your presence, and that your power is your greatest treasure and your greatest gift. Where your heart is will be your treasure. Lay up for yourself treasures in heaven, in divine ideas, in compassion, in generosity, in love. It makes no difference how small or how large the thing you want to do may be. It makes no difference what car you drive, what clothes you wear, what county you live in, the size of the house. It makes no difference. If you have an unlimited confidence in your ability to achieve the dream, to make a difference, and to have a legacy, you will do it. As we fall into a moment of silent reflection, once again, powerful words, you see things not as they are, but as you are. Stop judging by mere appearance and make a right judgment. And then invest in the 96% universe, in the silence. Please repeat after me. I am the light of God. I am the love of God. I am the power of God. I am the presence of God. And the world needs my presence. The world needs my power. The world needs my love. The world needs my light. The world needs my investment. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well. once was blind, but now I see. And I see loudly and proudly the effects of every investment that I have ever made. So it is, and so it shall be. Amen. I would like to invite Mike Stott to come up. He's a member of our board of directors, and he's leading the campaign that I've been hinting about up until today. And he's going to talk a little bit about the offering, take the offering today, and maybe answer some questions. Mike is going to be here with the members of our staff. Would love to talk to you about the investments I've challenged you to make right after the service. And if you can't stay after the service, there'll be phone calls. They've already been happening. Mike, all yours.
You know, there's a lot that I don't understand. I don't understand when I get in my car how I push a button, it turns on. My car's not 20 years old. So I don't understand how the radio works, but it brings me a lot of joy. I grew up Catholic. Picture me in high school. I was this tall, 137 pounds, and an altar boy. The cassock ended about there. The priests were this tall, yes. Richard naked in underwear, me in the cassock. Two images you don't want to see. And what I remember from growing up Catholic was how unworthy I was and how I would be punished if I didn't do certain things, including giving. And I remember when I found unity 35 years ago, when I was a soul and not a wretch in the song. And I had a George Bailey from It's a Wonderful Life moment in 2009 and 2010. We had moved here from Hawaii in 2007. I was working as a speaker and a trainer for a company that fired 80 of their 88 employees. I lost my house. I had over $1 million invested in different real estate across the country that was embezzled from us. They're in prison, but my money was gone. And I was living in a rental house. I had $110,000 in debt. My retirement accounts were wiped out. I had 3 children in college, 1 that was out, and a 4th that was still in junior high school. And I was interviewed as we were starting up our real estate business and coaching company again. I was interviewed by somebody, and she said, "How in the heck are you so positive?" And I said, "I measure my wealth in joy. I measure my wealth in service." And I still had those. And I think back to the great leaders and the great prophets and the great stories. Phil in Groundhog Day did not experience joy until he learned how to be of service. George Bailey didn't go around saying, "Billy, what did you do with my money?" Or, "Mr. Potter, I bet you stole it," when he was recognizing that joy and abundance that was in his life as people were coming in, pouring their money to support him. And that's what I get at this church, this community, is I get support. I didn't want to do this fundraiser. It was, sort of somebody needed to do it. But I've had the joy of meeting John Hicks, and he's the co-leader doing this with me. He's one of the kindest, most gracious men I'll ever meet, and I'll always treasure the relationship we've built in the last 2 to 3 months while we're working this. I am asking you to join the Consistent Giving program and give with joy. Not because you have to, not because you're going to burn in the place that doesn't exist if you don't, but because it's joyful. We can tithe of our time, talent, and treasure. Okay, those of you that know me know I'm in the garden club. I'll be moving pumpkins on Monday. I build things, I do things. I'm not very good at singing or doing music, but I do what I can do, and I do it with joy. And I'm asking you to take ownership of this church and what it means to you, and what this community means to you, and what the dream is. We have the little dream. What the dream is of what more we can do for the community. That's what I sincerely believe in. As Richard said, after service, Nicole and I will be in the back, and Edie, if you want to sign up today, that's great. You'll get one of these wonderful little pins. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me after service. It's something we really believe in. It's already been a big success. Many of you will be getting phone calls in the next, if you didn't start last week, this week, we're planning, we have a group of 13 or 14 people that are doing calls. We appreciate you. We're not asking you to give if you can't afford it. What we're asking you to do is to stretch what your concept is of where you give your tithing of treasure specifically, so that we continue to move and do all the great things that we can do in this church. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. A little music, Ryan. And so we are going to take an offering, and this plea that came out today was not just for the people in the room. This congregation over the last year and a half has grown, and there's more people watching us than there are in the room these days. And so this is a request, a plea, a challenge, whatever you want to call it, to everyone who's watching online. And you may be in New York, in Texas, or in California, but you're part of this congregation, and your support is equally as important as those in the room. Right now, I'm going to invite those of us in the room and those of us online to join me in an affirmation, but maybe let it come from a deeper place. Let's go ahead and put the words to our offering affirmation up on the screen. And let's say this together with one powerful voice, and picture, as you say this, the lives that are reflected in today's message that have been forever changed. Together we say, I am so blessed, I am so prosperous, and it is my great pleasure to share of my prosperity and to share of my blessings. And in the giving, the entire world is blessed. Thank you, God. Amen. Once again, give a round of applause to welcome Daniel Capel.
We do what we do, what we do, and there ain't too much that is new, 'cause we do what we do, what we do, what we do. And we know what we know, what we know, and there's so much further to go, 'cause we know what we know, what we know, what we know. Take what we know and let's go, yeah. Oh, let's go. Move into action. Move into action. Action, everybody. Move into action and go. Yeah, we see what we see, what we see. And we can't always just let it be, 'cause we see what we see, what we see, what we see. And we be what we be, what we be. And that's enough to set us all free, 'cause we be what we be, what we be, what we be. That's a lot. Go. great band you guys have. Move into action. I move into action. I move into action and go. We are what we are, what we are. And we're the ones driving this car. Because we are what we are, what we are, what we are.
Daniel Capel. Hey, if you'd like to get on Daniel's mailing list, see Paula afterwards. She'd love to. He's got some amazing CDs that you can get. They don't have product today, but get on the list and see Paula and support Daniel Capel on his beautiful ministry. But right now, repeat after me. Whoa, let's go. Let's go. Julie's going to lead you singing God is My Source. Come out and see the finance committee. Come out and see me. Thank you so much for being here today. We love you so very much.
All right, put your hands together. We know God is our source. And every minute and everything, God is good all the time. All the time. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I'm. So what do we do? So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me every. How about love? Love is my source. Love is my source. Love is my power. Love gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Love gives me everything. One more time. God is my source. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything. God gives me everything. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need. Yes, God does good in everything. Have a wonderful week. We will see you next week. We will see you at the Fall Festival. We will see you at the Pumpkin Patch. You are loved. You are blessed. Have a great week.